Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Inside Cape Cod. I'm Mina Green. I'm joined in the studio this morning by two very handsome men. I have Harold Skelton, who is the director and founder of Fishing for the Mission. And I have Jeff Hopwood from Mako's Bait and Tackle.
Yep.
You're one of the big sponsors. We have two things to discuss this morning. You have a grand opening coming up on May 7th for the Fishing for the Mission 22 Resource Center in Buzzards Bay.
So that's a very proud moment for us. It's a lot of hard work over the past 2 years. One of my first people I met when I first arrived in Buzzards Bay, because I'm not originally from the Cape, I'm from Western Mass, Holyoke. I met Jeff when I was just starting off. I was actually still working DoorDash to raise funds to actually pay for this whole endeavor. And I had a pretty bright jersey on, as they say in the fishing community. It was one of our jerseys that we designed for Fishing for the Mission. Kind of got his attention because he's in the fishing business with the Mako's Bait. So he called me over. We're at Rod and Rail in Buzzards Bay, and so that's how me and Jeff met. And since then, he's been an ally and a partner and a sponsor of everything I pretty much do. So our relationship has really grown into a friendship and beyond with our endeavors to help veterans in our community.
So you just started DoorDash to try to get money for this, and look what it has grown into. Amazing. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. No, when I first met Harold, he was pitching fishing lures. Yeah. So if I had a nickel for everybody that came in and told me they had a new fishing lure that was gonna work, I'd be retired, right? So the fishing lure was one thing, but certainly when he described the purpose of his mission and what he was trying to do, and he was selling these lures as a charity and a fundraising event for this vision that he had, I was more interested in that than the lures. But he also mentioned to me at that time, right, the first tournament we did was the striped bass tournament, right?
2 years ago.
Yeah,
almost,
on the canal. And he had this idea, and this was early, right? This was April or May. He had this idea to have a striped bass tournament down on the Cape Cod Canal, just for the Cape Cod Canal. Thought it was unique and interesting. So, yeah, we kicked it off, spent a lot of time putting that together, and it was a pretty good event.
And now the second annual one is coming up on May 31st through June 2nd.
Right.
Well, this is a little different. This is a black sea bass tournament. That was a striper tournament, which a lot of regulations now, so we decided to move towards other fisheries. That was a successful event with Jeff's help. A lot of people said we couldn't do it because the stigma with the stripers and people not wanting to get involved with maybe striper fishing, or the big one just kind of ended. So I think we had 259 signups when people said we wouldn't even get 10 signups.
Whew.
So we raised almost $30,000. We did everything at the VFW. That was like our first real in with the fishing community in Buzzards Bay, and now we have going on our second year with the Black Sea Bass Tournament, which I'm proud of because it's picking up a lot of steam.
Good, that's wonderful. So getting back to the ribbon cutting for a moment, if you don't mind, thank you very much for giving me a little bit of background. Now the ribbon cutting ceremony is on May 7th, and there's going to be a special flyover from the base?
Yeah, so we have a pretty good board now, and one of my board members has a little bit of influence in the community with the military hair because he does a lot for veterans and their families, is Wayne Soares. So he helped me arrange the flyover with Otis with the Coast Guard. We have a great cast of celebrities up to comedian Lenny Clark, a CBS sportscaster Steve Burton. I think we have 4 retired generals coming, a Broadway singers doing the national anthem as we actually cut the ribbon and do the flyover. So it's all timing. I think we got it down. Weather's looking good, so it should be a go.
Yep. And you actually named 2 colleagues, former colleagues of mine. Wayne Soares, many, many, many years ago when we first came to the Cape, was our sports guy.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Falmouth on another station. And I worked up at WBZ for 12 years, so I know Steve Burton pretty well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I don't know Steve, but Wayne's been an invaluable resource.
Oh, yes.
Last week he let me come on set when he just won an Emmy for his Silent Dignity on Vietnam veterans, and it was a great experience. I got to meet Armand Asante, and
nice.
We have our own little project in the works for veteran suicide awareness, because that's
so
one of the big
important.
things that we do now is advocate for that.
Of course, and he also writes in the Mashpee Enterprise too. So he's got a column. Yeah, I know. I read him.
Spotlight. Yep.
I read him. Hi, Wayne. So this is very exciting. So this obviously is a labor of love for you. What gave you the idea?
I kind of struggled for many years after my service, and I kind of wasted a lot of my life feeling maybe sorry for myself.
Oh,
2010,
horrible.
I tried to actually take my life. After my service, I was conditional offer going into the DEA, working narco-terrorism, something I worked hard. I was a couple classes into my PhD. So when I got med-boarded out after my last deployment, it kind of stressed me out, I guess you'd say, or maybe caused me some of those stressors that I didn't really want to be here because I feel like I lost everything I worked hard for. So when I started having my children, Harry and Daisy, they kind of gave me purpose again, but it wasn't full purpose because I still wanted to be successful or make a difference and impact people's lives. So they didn't have to kind of deal what I had to deal with for so many years. So fishing was that kind of medium where I found comfort, therapeutic benefits, and I spent a lot of time coming to Bourne, and it's one of the reasons I moved there because I always loved the canal. It's been a special place for me since childhood, fishing it. So
good memories.
Good memories, and boy, I love Bourne. So I'm a big Western Mass Holyoke guy. I love the paper city. It's a very proud city, but I'm just as happy to live in Bourne now.
Yeah.
So great people, and I've come a long way to help us.
You must be a big inspiration for a lot of the veterans that you do know, because I've done work with Heroes in Transition quite a few times, and I also personally had a lot of friends. I'm a little bit older than you guys. I had a lot of friends that really, they went to Vietnam, and when they came back, they were not the same.
Yeah.
They just weren't. And we didn't have wonderful organizations like we have now, like Heroes in Transition, like the tournaments that you're doing and the inspiration that you have given these other veterans. Like, look, I was where you are now, but guess what? I found my outlet. You got to find yours. We'll help you. Right?
Right.
That's what it's about.
And there's no better reason in the world for what you guys have done for us. It's just, this is like a gimme. We got to give back. We've got to make sure that you guys are okay, because you served your time for your country, and we need you. You're good people.
Right.
Yes. So, Jeff, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Have you ever been in the military?
I have family members that are military. My father was retired Army. My grandparents are both retired Coast Guard. I have a niece that graduated the Naval Academy. Mm-hmm. So it's a personal thing for me as well. But it's, I don't have necessarily the time that Harold has. So whatever I can do to help Harold support the cause that he has is what I try to do. And, we hit it off with fishing for sure. It was one of those things where if I can get involved, we've got a family business that we've been on the Cape for 54 years. My mom and dad started Mako's Bait and Tackle in 1970.
Wow.
They've both since passed, but our family still runs the business. And so anything we can do to help that's where we come in.
That's wonderful. And it's great when you can carry on the family business. They would be so proud. They would be so proud to know that it's still going on.
I think the Hopwoods come from a family that like to give. I mean, you've been not just fishing for the mission, but you've been involved in, from my understanding, quite a few different charities and hockey in the community. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's in your nature too to
give back.
Maybe not have the time because you have your family and work, but your free time you're still giving. So I really appreciate it. He helps me because I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm good at writing and doing some things, organizing, but I'm not good at math. So last year, if I didn't have Jeff to save my butt with the Excel, and we had to do it was a little complicated, and he figured it all out, and he had a bad back, and I was not. I would have been hiding in the bushes if I had to try to figure that out. So weighing the fish alone is a huge thing off my plate because it's not my expertise.
A little secret.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah. Okay. I was never good with math either, but fortunately I've been able to. At least I can run the computer and the board and things like that, so I can still do my job. But I feel you. I know what it's like.
I can't do math, or I can't use the computer to do the math for me. No. So I let other people do the math.
What did we do before Google? Google, what is blah, 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 blah. Ah, there it is. Instant. It's crazy. Yep. It's a crazy world we live in. Now, how did you come up with the fishing tournament idea?
When you first start a nonprofit, like I said, I was working DoorDash, so I didn't have any big board of directors that were giving us money to get it started. So I had to self-start it myself. I'm a single father, so I'm retired military, so I have a great pension, but I don't really have the opportunity to go get a full-time job because I had, at the time, Daisy was 2 and Harry was 4.
You had a full-time job with those kids.
So they worked DoorDash with me. They were workers too. So I felt a little guilty, but I know I only had to do it for a few months to make enough money to pay the CPA costs and some of the lawyer costs with the incorporation aspects of incorporating a 501c. So the fishing tournaments were just a way to make money because we're in a fishing community. I had Jeff on my side, so I was like, I'm gonna take the shot at it. No one else wants to do it. Jeff wants to, and we were successful. And we've just continued to go off that success. Every fundraiser we've held in the past 2 years not only sells out, but we're starting to raise some serious money. For example, we just had our second annual Chowder Fest in Wareham at Stone Path Malt, who's also Mark is on my board of directors, Mark St. Jean, and he lets me use his place to pretty much do whatever I want. So our second annual Chowder Fest, we had, I think, 15 local restaurants all the way from Hyannis all the way to New Bedford, and we raised close to $40,000 in that 4-hour event. And then last week we had our first Doing Piano series that we're going to start doing, because we operate in 4 states now. So what we're doing is a Doing Piano series with Flying Ivories, and we raised $15,000 in 3 hours just listening to music, and low cost to start these events, and it profits enough that we're opening up our resource center. We have our first mission vehicle. So just signed our paperwork the other day with our business lawyer, and that incorporated our First Line Wellness group, which is a subsidiary that is going to give licensed behavioral services to veterans, active duty, first responders, and their families. So anyone that encompasses that group of individuals, they can come and get quick, efficient healthcare services, family to personal licensed therapy.
How did you come up with all of these brilliant ideas?
Well, the ideas are easy to come up with.
It's the execution.
Luckily, when I put my board together, I kind of hinted at, chose people that can help me, and they specialize in, one board director, for example, specializes in healthcare. So he's a therapist, so it's actually not as hard as you think. You got to incorporate, and that's the hardest part. So
right.
I use lawyers for all that.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You don't want to do something on your own and find out you did something wrong. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Resource Center. So it's going to benefit veterans.
The veterans, active duty, first responders, and their families. And so kind of what we do, probably start off with that, is we use fishing as excursions or activities to connect veterans and active duty and first responders to our other programs, which include Operation Tackle 22. Mm-hmm. That's our vocational Marine program where we've been sending veterans to captain school to try to reintegrate into stable workforces after their service that might be struggling. So we pay all the expenses of the whole captain's course. We set them up. It's more of a mentorship, but we're also starting to work with other businesses, including me and Jeff have been talking from Mako's to possibly, even have a workforce where we just kind of mentor and get veterans jobs, even if it's part-time, just to get them out of the houses and isolation.
Right. Well, that's it. A lot of the veterans that I have spoken with, and I have a lot of friends who are veterans, as I said, and the big thing when you come home, it's such a different world. You isolate yourself, and
which leads to depression, which leads to a lot of other
stuff that we don't want you guys to have to go through. So for you to have these wonderful events, it's bringing people together.
Yeah.
People that maybe aren't suffering anymore, that they've gotten back into the normal routine, and they can help somebody who just got back. And it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. And I don't know why we weren't doing this long ago, but I'm just so glad that we're doing it now. And
I think the stigma's going away. So
people
can admit that they have issues, and it's not unmanly anymore to say I'm depressed or I have PTSD or where you're hiding. And I know from example, veterans don't want to talk about their issues, so people feel like we don't understand us. That's why we isolate, because they want to ask us questions, or maybe we don't want to talk. But we're happy just being there and being silent, maybe not looking happy. I dealt with that with my parents, and I just never understood. I'm happy, I'm here. I'm not the same person. I'm getting back to that point, and this mission's done it. So if you could do it for me, I know it can do it for others. And like I said, through our Common Ground 22 Connect, that gets the veterans that first step out of their house fishing with like-minded individuals. And from there, hey guys, by the way, we're not pushy about it. We do have behavioral services so you can get out of if you don't want to go to VA, because a lot of veterans, we're told, don't say anything negative or don't tell them you're feeling good to the VA, because then they might want to pull your benefits. I don't know if that's true, but a lot of us feel like we can't be truthful. We don't want to tell the VA we're having a good job. But what our services, you can say whatever you want, and you can use your benefits, because that's the new thing that we are allowed to do. So they can pretty much come get the same health care they're going to get at the VA and not have to worry about getting a negative mark, which I'm not saying that's true.
No, of course not. But just why would they want to take the chance?
Right.
No.
Why would they want to take the chance?
And then through there, they can also get the behavioral services, the vocational services, the mentorship.
And equine therapy. They work wonders for young adults with disabilities that, are shut down. Also the children of people who are deployed and constantly getting deployed. And I've seen the kids' faces when they get there with their family. And all of a sudden it's just like they're kids. And the horses are amazing. They're very healing. You look into those eyes and they know what you've been through. They do. They really know, and they understand. And it's just incredible when you get those kids up there and you see them riding. It's just really wonderful. So do you still need people to sign up for the fishing tournament?
Oh, yeah, we need a lot
more
sign-ups.
All right, so let's get some information with that.
Yeah.
So how about...
I'll let Jeff handle that.
So I think we moved this from striped bass to black sea bass primarily because we wanted this to be a family event, right? This isn't the type of tournament where, all these expert fishermen are going to come in and win thousands and thousands of dollars, right? This is an event for charity, and it's meant to be kind of a family event that you can go fishing for a couple days, group of 4 or 5 guys with their kids, right? And really, so the black sea bass fishery is a great fishery, bottom fishery for our region. There's a lot of them. They're really good eating. They're fun to catch. They're beautiful to look at. They're kind of got this tropical look type of fish to them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's how we ended up really settling on Black Sea Bass, right? We wanted a family event.
Yeah.
We wanted to bring groups of people together.
So where can people sign up for this?
So they can sign up through our website at fishingforthemission22.org. Go to our events page. Just piggying back off what Jeff said, this is a family event. That's how all our events are structured, because family, suicide awareness and mental health starts at the family and
Yes.
the community level, and it's important to have everyone involved. But just piggyback off what Jeff said, it is family. It's $100 to join. Our big awards party's right across the street from our resource center in Buzzards Bay, 47 Main Street. So we got the whole railroad bridge. We got a beer garden sponsored by Stone Path Malt. We got 3 awesome food vendors. $100 to join. All the proceeds go to our nonprofit. Kids under 13, they get to fish for free. We have 2 weigh-in locations, both Mako's locations and Onset.
Yeah, East Wareham, 3173 Cranberry Highway in East Wareham is the Mako's headquarters. And then we also have a building in Pocasset, right off Barlow's Landing Road.
Also, Dick's Bait and Tackle and Martha's Vineyard is going to act as our third weigh station.
That's right.
Quahog Republic's hosting our kickoff party, so anyone that signs up, you have the choice to pick up your captain's bag by May 14th. It's the cutoff for T-shirt, but New Bedford, Onset, and their Falmouth location, and also Sharky's is a cantina, I believe,
in Oak Bluffs.
Oak Bluffs, they're going to act as the Martha's Vineyard and Islands kickoff party location.
That's fantastic. Now, let's just reiterate once again, that is the weekend of May 31st through June 2nd. This will be going on. So people have plenty of time right now to get involved with that.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yep. And then, of course, the ribbon cutting is May 7th. So that's like a warm-up, right?
Right.
It's like a warm-up to find out what resources are available to these people and these families. And it's just...
I think, what did we do? We did 260 folks or something last year, and the weather did not cooperate. We had 40-degree days. It was early June on the Cape. It was in the 40s with a heavy northeast breeze, wet, rainy. It was miserable. So if we can get some good weather, I think we could really have a great weekend.
We've had enough of the rain all winter.
Right.
I believe we're on track because what we already have for signups is 500. And unfortunately, last year we were probably on track for maybe 400 or so. And unfortunately, when that Monday report came out, it kind of sign up stopped. I mean, it wasn't pretty. So we're hoping for better weather this year.
Yeah.
Just by the way, the weather didn't stop anyone because there was still plenty out there. Everyone was still catching. It just made it a little bit more challenging with the wind.
Sure. Well, we'll all have to keep our fingers crossed for these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's such a pleasure talking to you guys. Did we miss anything?
So for any veteran that's actually interested in signing up for a free fishing charter this summer, now is the time to go on our website and go to the Common Ground 22 program and sign up. It takes less than 2 minutes. Sign all the information, and we'll be in contact to set you up on a free fishing adventure somewhere within the Cape. So
Another great thing you're doing.
I think we have a pretty good party plan. We got that 80s band for our main entertainment. They're donating some of their time, so they're a pretty good local band in the Plymouth and Cape area. So
Love your mission, and a perfect name, Fishing for the Mission. Raise funds for our veterans and give them some help that they need. And it's been my pleasure speaking with Harold Skelton and also Jeff Hopwood. Well, thank you both so very much. It's been a pleasure and an honor hearing about all the things that you've done and are still doing, and I'm glad to share it with my listeners. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Cape Cod, heard on all 4 of our Coxswain Media Stations. Until next time, I'm Mina Green.